Hi, welcome to my channel. I made this channel as a way of documenting a creative journey that I was working on which was set up to aid my own mental health. I am a visual artist. I absolutely love collage in all its forms, but I have a degree in photography. So photography always comes in to what I'm doing. So enough of that. I don't want to have lots of blurb in the front. What I will quickly explain for anyone that's new is that each week or each fortnight, whenever I get to it, I'm going to be taking on a challenge. The challenge is that I am going to create an image around a theme, but there's also a challenge thrown into the theme. So for example, this first one that I'm working on, the theme is Rebirth, and the challenge is to include an enclosed space. This was fabulous for me. I really have enjoyed thinking about the ideas, and I really tend to do an awful lot of planning and thinking in my head before I actually get down to working on things. So we're just going to swap over to the notebook, and I will share with you some of the ideas and the directions that I'm thinking about going in. Okay, so as I said before, the theme for this particular project is Rebirth, and the challenge is going to be an enclosed space. So please forgive me, my sketches are never ever wonderful. However, I found the most amazing 2B pencil and I thought, no, I'll grab that. So my first idea was really looking literally at oceans, something along that sort of vein, clouds maybe, with sort of an emergence coming out of them. Now, for all the work I'm doing, I'm the model, unless I rope someone else into doing something. But this is, that's important for me. Okay, so that kind of got a bit fluffy for me. I really like this idea of having some kind of tube kind of thing. So what I'm actually going with, the idea is that I'm going for almost like a sausagey shape. I want lots of textures and movement within this shape, but I want it to have like an open mouth. And then I've decided that rebirth is not something that's easy. So the me, and I'll just pop me down here, the me that I want to do for this is going to be really straining on arms, pushing their way out of this space. So really, really coming and pushing myself out of that space. Now I want to, so that will mean there'll be a photograph here where I'm going to have to think about how I'm going to stand, what I'm going to wear, and I'm also going to think now about how I'm going to get this shape, how I'm going to make that shape. Now I'm going to do all of this in photography to start with. I need to go and buy a zip unless I can find one, because thinking about it, I don't want this as teeth, and I really like the idea of the fact that you're sort of emerging, pushing yourself out, but you've still got these teeth or the zip that can be closed up. And I guess that means you can also go back in if you don't want to be rebirthed. You can pop back in again. Okay, so join me now on the journey. I decided to start the project by taking photos of myself, which was interesting, and then I shortlisted them down to a few. I just wrapped a t-shirt around my head because I knew I was going to want to make this just into a full form rather than something special. In the end, I narrowed them down, the ones I was going to use, to these following two. That one pushing out, and the one before just kind of pulling along as well. I took photos of a gorgeous blanket I had to use for what I'm now calling the cocoon. I did exactly the same thing with the zips, and I took lots of photos of the zip because I'm really not sure which ones I'm going to use yet. My apologies, the human figure in my I'm learning how to do this got deleted. So I can tell you I just put a white mask over the top of the figure. I masked it out and then put a white layer over the top and some shadows in to indicate shape. So this is now we're fitting this all in together. Just looking at how I'm going to make this so it wraps around. We want that actually to move around. These are the little things that take the time but are absolutely essential, because otherwise things can look really, well, unfinished basically. Playing with the zip was hard work. Again, one of the videos I lost, but what you don't realize is there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 5 or 6 pieces of zip that was used for this, and I merged them together. It was really cool to be able to use the folds of the actual fabric, you know, to tuck the zip into, because it, you know, gives more reality to the image. If you're rebirthing, there's always sadness, there's always blood that you leave behind. So it was important for me just to have that tiny little recognition so that people could take it on when they're interpreting this in whatever they wanted. I also included, again, video missing, I'm so sorry, was a small flower up in the top left-hand corner, but you will see that in the following images. I love playing with textures, and this is a couple of textures I chose to play with this particular image. I'd got to the point that I was ready to finish off, I guess, in a way. I find that it's almost like putting the icing or a thin layer of the decoration on the icing on your piece of work. So I wanted to try this first as a background. I did not like it. I took it, I really didn't thrill me at all. This was the next one I used. Firstly, I tried to lay it over the top, didn't like that. And then I started playing with this one, and you kind of think, oh, well, laid it on the top, it didn't work. But once I started playing with the blending modes and changed the background color to white, this really, I just fell in love with it. This ended up being the image that came out of the computer, and now it was time for me to play. So the first way, and the thing I love doing, is using collage. I had this on fast forward a little bit, but kind of bear with me. The collage pieces are all thought out. The white pieces really represent the purity. The purple across the face represents the fact that when you are reborn, you're really quite not sure about what's going to be happening. I'd like to talk quickly about some of the symbolism. The blood being thrown off, the flower to attain to, the clothing yourself in the white, and also the white above the head, recognizing hopefully that you've got some outside help. The fact that the cocoon was in there was also really important to me. This was my first project after coming out of a suicidal episode, and so the fact that it was rebirth, what the theme was rebirth, was actually really, really significant. In a lot of the things in here, I probably represent how, well, they represent how I was feeling at the time. And I certainly felt anonymous within the rebirth that I was having as well, because it was such a personal thing. So the fact that I'm whited out, that's what that's all about. We're just looking now at working on the image now with aquarels. This is going over the whole image. The cocoon, as I called it, represented an enclosed space, and it was also represented the fact for me that sometimes we're in enclosed spaces that can be really pretty yucky, psychologically, but we've always seen them, we see them somehow in this positive way, this fluffy kind of way. And the part around the neck is just about the fact that in many ways you are still connected to that. It almost, if you allow it to, it's going to strangle you. Hi, this is the first video that I tried, so it's a bit meh. So hang in with me. I've actually posted my second video, heaps better. I posted it first, I posted this one second, but please hang in with me. And thank you so much for getting this far with me. See you next time.